Autumn is often a complete hellhole, filled with holidays, social gatherings, traveling, logistical nightmares, eating and drinking, and expectations that you have to live up to, or other people maybe not living up to your expectations, spending money and time, and it's dark, at least if you live in the northern hemisphere like I do. And don't get me wrong, it's not all wrong, of course. It's wonderful a lot of the times, but it's also a lot. So why do we, as a social construction, think like January should be the month where you're going to make all the promises and change your life? How are you going to have the energy to do that? Isn't that just setting yourself up to fail? Entering January, you probably feel, if you're like anything like me, exhausted, at least to some extent, and maybe you even feel what scientists call seasonal affective disorder. Especially, like I said, if you're living in the northern hemisphere like I do, where it's dark, if not 24/7, almost 24/7. So why do we think that we are going to change our lives and head into January just full blast, when it's just not true? If you look at the year, if you sit down and think about your year, about how you feel and how your energy levels feel, and just in general, not just you personally, but in society, how the energy is flowing. And it's not as woo-woo as it sounds. There are actually things like the back to school effect in autumn and everything. And it's something that is, when you go with the rhythm of nature, it's sleeping in the winter. For example, just look at myself. Right now, it's January 3rd, and I can barely make it through an entire day. I want to take naps every afternoon. I am so tired. And it's been wonderful holidays, and we've been meeting family and eating good food. But I'm also exhausted. I can't wait for January, routines to kick in, and we're just at home, and we're not supposed to be anywhere or to do anything. I can't even begin to think of like I am going to enforce new habits or make some major changes, like changing my job or moving or anything like that. I'm like, oh, I just can't. And this feeling, I've been thinking about this for a couple of years now, and since I really sat down and thought about it and decided, like, I'm not gonna change anything in January. I'm just gonna work on getting back to the rhythm, the everyday rhythm, and enjoy January, because I'm not saying that January is like inherently bad or it has it out for us in any way, but because January can be amazing. It's where I live, it's usually cold, there is lots of northern lights and stars, and you go riding with the snowmobiles, and it's just a lot of beautiful things in nature, and skiing, cross-country skiing. Ooh, I just long for that so much. I just wanna hibernate like the bears do. They sleep all the way through winter and come back out in the spring. And that's how I feel as well. I wanna spend January and like the darkest months just moseying on and contemplating and dreaming and envisioning what I wanna do, and like reflecting, I guess. Like when you sleep, when you're dreaming, your brain is like working with what's have happened during the day or other like events in your life. And that's how I feel like these dark months is as well. So for me, it's like January, maybe even February, but then the light is starting to come back where I live. And I start to feel that a little, the little spark of energy and the lust to do something, the urge maybe to do things and to actually, get moving. But it's not maybe until like April, where I live, when the snow is starting to melt for real and the spring is really getting going. And that's when I get a new burst of energy. And I do lots of things and, get the garden going, clean up after winter, and make plans for the summer and everything like that. And then there's the summer, and in the summer, you could think that, it's going to be light where I live in Sweden, in the north of Sweden. It's going to be bright out almost 24/7. And that's when I'm not structured at all. I'm not structured. I have the energy, that I do, but I'm not structured. I just want to be out and enjoy. And usually, again, in the summer, you have a vacation, and again, with the social gatherings, and you want to meet the people, and the kids are off from school, and so on, and so on, and so on. But then in September, when that comes around, that's when I get back to routines, and after a really intense vibe during spring and summer, you start going back into more of an everyday rhythm and get more structured, and routines are coming back, and that's when I really feel like my new year is starting. I've said that for years, that my new year is actually like in September. And then I work and actually get the momentum going in September and all through the autumn. And then we're back in January. I have made a push and I'm tired. And I want to again come back, look at my goals, my vision board, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, and revise, hibernate, and think. Also, why do we only give ourselves one chance out of 12? In a year, there are 12 months, and don't even get me started on like every day, every hour, every minute when you can choose to change if that's what you want. But why do we only give ourselves a chance to change and to be better and go for our goals once a year? That's just setting yourselves up to fail. That is just so cruel to yourself. I mean, you have the chance, every month, every day, every week. We have to be kinder to ourselves. And also, building habits takes a long time. It's not gonna be enough for you to put in like that surge of energy in January and maybe February, maybe March if you really, really try, and then you're done. I mean, building new habits can be really hard, especially if the habits that you're trying to change or behaviors that you're trying to quit have been like in your behavioral pattern for years. It's like in your brain. So you can't expect everything to change in just a short period of time. Give yourself grace and time to actually do the change and get the change. Get your brain rewired. So what should you focus on in January, I think? Well, first of all, refilling energy, recharge, and just give yourself some time. Autumn is usually, especially December, filled with, as I said, like the holidays and all the other things and the stuff and the this and that. Give yourself January to actually stop, recharge, give yourself what you need. Give yourself self-care and thinking. Give yourself time to think about what direction do you want your life to take. Are you happy where you are? Do you want to switch something up? If it's something big or something small, doesn't really matter. It's all relevant. But don't focus too much on how you're going to do it, on if it's going to work or not. Just give yourself time to have a vision, to build the vision. See the path in front of you, like in 10 years, what do I want then? What do I want to have achieved? In what direction do I want my life to have taken? I spent January making my vision board. I visited the vision board that I made the previous year, and I revised it. Some things are still on my vision board and still are on it for years. I almost always work on the same one and change out the imagery and the phrasing on how I have phrased what I want my life, what direction I want my life to take, and what things I want to do. Making a vision board to me is way more than just some, glorified scrapbooking. It's about helping your brain it's about helping your brain focus and being more selective and prioritizing. It's also a reminder to you that, like in every day, I always say that you have to put your vision board up where you can see it at least once a day, because you can't just leave it like on your phone or your computer, because then it's just gonna be there in like a digital drawer collecting dust and not doing anything for you. You need to see this thing often for it to be able to help you in your everyday and like in the decisions you make every day. I have been making resources about vision boarding and yearly revisions, I guess, before. So if you want me to dive more into this and maybe even create this resource in English, drop me a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. I really, really think there's so much power in this and in reframing and helping your brain refocusing and reprioritizing. Making vision boards and making visions and having this idea of where you want to go is so important for us to also help us get through the dark months, and if you're tired and feel like you're just done, because having something to look forward to is really important to our well-being. We are actually happier when we have something to look forward to. If it's an activity or a change that you're gonna make, it doesn't really matter if it's just, if I make this change, I envision that my life will look like this or that. It helps us feel happier both before, during, and after the fact. So make sure that you have something to look forward to. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have any questions or any ideas or anything like that, just drop me a comment and like the video, and of course don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again soon in the next video.